Hey everyone, welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm your host, Jill Thomas. I am super excited. I've got a celebrity, Karin Schroeder. She has been a practicing astrologer for 35 years, trained in classical as well as spiritual astrology. And her readings focus on past life patterns and soul purpose. And I love that because right now everybody is, pardon my use of this clinical term here, freaking the F out about what's going on in the world. And I was hoping that Karin can give some insight and inspiration and help us feel a little bit less freaked the F out about what's going on. Welcome, Karin. I'm so glad you came. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. It's great meeting you, and I'm glad to meet all these new people that will see the tape. So I'm excited about it, and I have a lot to say. So
I love it. I saw you on another show and I thought you were so amazing. I'm like, oh my God, Karin's great. I would, even if I can't get her on the show, I just want to have coffee with her. She's so great. But apparently you don't live next door to me. So coffee's a little harder.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So one of the things that your website says is that you help people look at the astrology and see what's kind of collectively holding them back or holding them back. Is there anything that you would say in the collective with America, with regard to America specifically in our chart, that would suggest what's holding us back from evolving to the next level as a society?
Absolutely. I have been working on the United States chart, probably since right before 2016. Excuse me. And so I'm very familiar with the United States chart. I've done a few videos about the United States chart on other people's channel. I'm going to do one on my channel soon. But the United States chart has a Chiron. All of us have Chiron, which is the wounded healer. Somewhere in our chart, we have a wound that built up over past lives. And the wound shows us how we can heal ourselves from that karmic wound. And then as we heal ourselves, how we can heal other people with that similar kind of wound or pain. So the United States chart has a Chiron. And interestingly enough, the wound for the United States is in Aries in the 4th house. Now, for all of you that are not astrology geeks, the 4th house symbolizes, for me in the country, it symbolizes the people of the country, and most significantly, the indigenous people of the country.
Oh, interesting.
So the wound in Aries is very warlike. It can be very brutal. First thing I want to say, Jill, is that there are different levels, evolutionary levels, to all the planets, all the houses, and all the zodiacal signs. So if we look at Aries at the worst way that Aries is manifesting its energy, it's warlike, it's brutal, it's impulsive, it's angry, and when you couple that with the placement of it in the 4th house of the indigenous people of the United States, I don't think we need to connect too many dots here. That's the wound of the United States. Now, we know that the planets are moving in their orbit. And so as they're moving, they're changing signs. They're triggering different energies in our charts. They're triggering different energies in the United States chart. What we have going on for the past 5 or 6 years is what we call a Chiron return, which means that the Chiron in the sky has gone all the way around the chart and come back to the spot that the United States Chiron is in. When you have a planetary return, it brings things up to the surface that is connected to that planetary energy. So our wound has been coming up from the surface. Look, it started when we had the Black Lives Matter. It started when we had the Me Too movement. It is just bringing the 1619 report about, the slavery in the United States since the inception of the United States. All of these things have been coming up for review, for us to look at, for us to deal with. And it's painful because, remember, it's a wound. So to answer your question, This happened right on time. We're supposed to be looking at racism. We're supposed to be dealing with questions about, well, how do we rebalance this? Is reparations one of the things we can do? What can we do? Pass laws, a number of things. So this is what's happening, and it started right on time. 5 or 6
Interesting.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, when you say the karma of the country and the wound, my first thought was the enslaved peoples, and how we started that right from the very beginning.
Right from the very beginning. Yep.
It's interesting that you bring. So, is there something that we specifically? Because we're going to get into some like what's going to happen questions here in a second here, but I always like to leave people with the something that we can do about it. It's one thing for me to say, or any of us to say, there's floods everywhere and earthquake.
Right.
What can we do? Like, how can we make this situation better? Based on what you're seeing in the charts, is there anything that we collectively can do to make this situation better?
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, all the zodiacal signs and planets have different levels. The highest level of Aries energy, which is where the wound is the white knight on the charging horse to fight injustice. This is the high energy of Aries. So we can tune in to that kind of energy and say, okay, what can we do? And of course, there are things we can do. There's volunteering that we can do. There's writing to the congressmen, the senators, local, running for local office, all these things where we can step up in an Aries kind of can-do manner, which is what, I've always thought that the Nike motto of just do it, that's an Aries motto. That's an Aries mantra. So just quit thinking about it, quit moaning about it, quit wringing our hands and going, oh my God, this was so terrible, it was so awful. What do we do next? It's like, yeah, run for local office, volunteer, have talks about, well, what can we do? What about reparation? What is that all about? Would that really help? So yes, the high energy of Aries is, yeah, get out there and do something about it. Look at any injustice that's local, and what can you do about that?
I love that. And of course, I both laugh and like cringe a little bit at Gavin Newsom's efforts to win by putting out funny memes, which I am very much enjoying. At the same time, I'm like, can we talk about some issues?
Right. But that's one way of using that Aries energy of like, you know what, we're going to do this. We got to do something. Let's just do this. So hopefully that's one of many things that can be done. But
I do like that way of looking. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, especially because I love South Park, and I'm like all about the way they're using their particular voice.
They are fearless, man. Oh man, they are just they're just doing it.
About the United States. Speaking of the U.S., obviously things are pretty chaotic. The question I'm getting all the time in the readings that I'm doing with clients is, when are things going to be back to normal? And I'm like, depends on what you're calling normal here. But can you give a sense, or can you see in the chart what we could expect for the next 4 or 5 months? I'm recording this on August 22nd at 10:30 Pacific.
Okay, sure. The chart of the United States has some big changes happening this year and next year. And part of the changes have to do with things coming up from the wound. Part of the changes have to do with another planet that tends to force us to decide who we are and who we're not. And so I think that's one of the reasons why things had to get so bad. And, I hate Trump with a white hot hate, but he's the perfect person at this time to bring out all of the ugliness so that we can say, you know what? No more, never again. And I don't think anybody could do that quite as well as he's doing it.
I would 100% agree with that. Yep.
So it had to be brought out. It had to get really, really bad because we needed a tipping point, right? We needed to get the MAGA people, the conservatives to go, oh, hell no, this isn't what I meant at all. And his chart specifically says that there are a lot of people falling out of love with him. So I believe that there's still going to be a small core of MAGA people, but there are a lot of people falling out of love with him. And in the United States chart, I can see clearly that, especially in 2026, that there are energies pushing us towards innovation, unique ways of solving problems, the people en masse, doing something that is so unmistakable that things have to change. So there's a confluence of astrological energies next year and into 2027 that make me think that the Democrats are going to be able to take Congress and the Senate, and J.D. Vance, who will be president. We can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, that was one of my next questions.
Yeah, he won't be able to do very much. He will not be able to do very much. And we have a window of time in 2026 and 2027 where we can really wholesale changes, big changes. Hey, I never liked the old way of doing it. I've got a better way. I've got a better idea. What do you guys think of having the Department of Education, be like this? So there's big changes in the works, and those changes are going to benefit all of us.
I love that. I love that. And one of the things I love what you just said about, we kind of needed a Trump. Who else would have tried every weak law that we had? Like everything we thought nobody would ever try to do that.
Every freaking loophole.
No, but yeah, nobody would ever try to use an executive order to get rid of the 14th Amendment, that birthright citizens. But like now we go, okay, well, maybe that law wasn't as strong as we thought it was. Okay, maybe there's a lot more holes in this dam than we realized. All it took for somebody to just like poke at it. So
apparently, our legal system is like a sieve. I mean, it's just.
I know, and we didn't see it. It was like that the whole time. It just took somebody to try it.
Right.
The whole time, and we didn't. Yeah, it's just shocking to me. So thank you for pointing that out. I was going to ask somebody, and we definitely want to get into Vance. I love what you're going to talk about that. Do the political parties themselves have an individual chart?
They probably do, and I've never been asked that, but I'm sure if somebody did research or if I did research, we could find a moment in time where this party morphed into this party and go, okay, here's a birth chart. But right now, I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, I mean, because I know that the Democrats and the Republicans' viewpoint of the way they handle issues is like flip-flopped since, because Lincoln was a Republican. Right. I love what you're saying. Okay, so what you talked about Trump, and you said, saw him not being succeeded by Vance. Can you get any sense of, I mean, we know he's having some health problems. That's not secret. Do you get any sense of when those health problems might turn into him leaving office? I don't mean in a very permanent way off the earth.
Right. Yeah. Moving on to the big McDonald's in the sky.
Thank you. I like that. That's a good way of putting it. Or just like the McDonald's that he goes to when he's still alive.
Yeah. He's the September. We have some September eclipses coming up, and they hit his chart in a very powerful and precipitating a big change for him. So it's either going to be a health event that is unmistakable and he cannot stay president any longer, or he could choose to say, you know what, I'm out of here, and like I said, go to the big McDonald's in the sky. So the stress, I think, is building. His body is not built to handle the stress anymore. He's abused it for so long with, his chronic health problems, his diet, not thinking exercise is bad for you. And also the man has been a drug user for decades. So this is all taking its toll, and his age. And so the stress, Epstein, I think there's going to, protests are going to step up. I believe that Vance was chosen to be vice president because Trump was used by people like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and other powerful people in the shadows, because they knew that he would, he had popular support I 100% believe that he won by cheating, but he did have popular support. So they used him to get into office, and they chose J.D. Vance. He did not choose J.D. Vance to be his vice president. We know that. So Vance was chosen. And Vance is getting very restless. Like, okay, you said it was going to be my turn, and when is it my turn? So I think he had that meeting with who did he meet? Who did Vance meet with in Mar-a-Lago? Oh, Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah. So there's powerful, wealthy people in the background that are like, oh, this is turning out way worse than we thought. We're losing money. Hey, we weren't supposed to lose money. So I think they're fast tracking the whole Vance thing. And I think Trump's body is going to kind of, agree with that. And there'll be some kind of a health event. I did get a hit. I don't usually get political hits. This is the third one I've gotten in my life. And the first two turned out to be correct. So the third hit I got was about a month ago, cleaning my stove. And I'm thinking, for some reason, I was thinking about his State of the Union address and how much because I don't like to look at him or listen to him, but I listened for about a half an hour and then I thought, I can't take it. And so I'm thinking about this while I'm cleaning my stove. And all of a sudden I hear a voice tell me that's the last State of the Union he'll ever make. So I dropped my sponge. I'm like, hello, what was that? And I heard it again. That's the last State of the Union he'll ever make. So they don't explain anything.
Nope. They drop bombs like that. And then, and it's like, and you're like, wait, tell me like 10 more things. And they're like, peace out.
Bye. Yeah. Peace out. So I'm thinking, all right, well, the first two were correct and I'm just going to go with this. So everybody, for what it's worth, the September eclipse, I think it's going to take him out, take him down, however you want to look at it.
And of course, I wouldn't feel right as the host of the show if I didn't say this is for entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes.
Neither one of us is a doctor, a lawyer, stock attorney, or don't listen to us. Just right, don't. Just exactly. Just assume everything has the word allegedly in front of it, particularly when it involves Epstein. But wink, wink. Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Interesting. So maybe we talk about Vance. Vance is an interesting character. Like I'm just going to tell you and a whole bunch of other people a little secret here. I was going to have an astrologer on that was going to go talk about Vance's chart, and she looked at it. We both, before the show, I had tuned into Vance and she'd been looking at the chart and we're both like, this energy is so yucky. I don't even feel good doing it. We ended up talking about something entirely different. Mm-hmm. But you actually waded into that pool. So good for you.
I've looked at it. I don't know if I waded.
Oh,
but
I wouldn't do it.
I did look at it. And I looked at it energetically and I looked at it astrologically. And yes, he's a very dark energy. He's a very dark energy. He sold his soul a long time ago. I don't know what lifetime it might have been, but he did. Very dark energy. And so as the country is shifting, he's not going to match the energy of the country, which means he can't be in office very long. And as I mentioned before, I really believe that for a number of reasons that the Democrats will I think they'll squeak. I don't know that I'm not going to say it was going to be a blue wave, boys and girls, but they're going to squeak by and get Congress and get the Senate. And he's not going to be able to implement his agenda. And by 2028, I don't think we're going to have a Republican president for a long time.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I was getting that same thing. I know some people have said, "Oh, it's going to be a blue wave," and I'm like, I wasn't seeing a blue wave. I was seeing a squeak, and I was like, we all need to go vote. If there's no, I'm just going to stay home. Everybody else is going to. No. We all need to be there.
We all need to go. Yeah.
Even if they get rid of those mail-in ballots, we got to stand in the rain and the hot sun, whatever we got to do.
Whatever we got to do.
Because that's an interesting perspective. So off the cuff here. What do you think of Gavin Newsom's chances of being the next president?
I looked at his chart. I looked at Gavin's chart, and I did not see a sudden rise to power in the next few years for him. So I think there's somebody else that's slated for it, but I'm not sure who it is.
I was thinking the same thing. Like first of all, I never loved him from California. Most Californians don't love him because he did a lot of stuff during the pandemic that made us just go, "What?"
Well, and he didn't really do anything to stop the film industry from.
Oh, I know, from going to Georgia and other states, and Canada,
and overseas.
I agree with you. Yeah, overseas. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But I did see intuitively another Democrat, but it's not somebody on my radar either. So
okay, yeah.
I don't know either.
No, I know everybody's like chomping at the bit to know, but it's like, no, maybe it's a dark horse. I don't know, but it's somebody that's going to be moving in. And since I don't know what chart to look at,
I know what you mean. Oh, look at all of them. No.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense of, and humor me on this question, I was wondering if there was a possibility of a more liberal Republican, but do you think it's for sure going to be a Democrat?
Yes. I kind of swing from a Democrat that we're not aware of yet to somebody like Mark Cuban.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was a Democrat. Is he not?
I don't know.
I think Mark Cuban's chances are pretty good. But that's just my speculation.
Yeah, somebody who's kind of like a businessman, but who's been on the airwaves, so people know him and has done some good things. And yeah, it could be Mark. I'm going to have to see if I can find his chart. The problem comes when a lot of these public figures, you need a birth time to do an accurate reading of the chart.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things specific things you look at in a chart to see if someone is going to rise to prominence. Are they going to become a public figure? Do they get more responsibility? There are specific things you look at, and you can only calculate that with an accurate birth time. And a lot of public figures do not have birth time, or they have like 3. So like Epstein has a couple. I've looked at his chart. I did a video on my channel about his chart and Maxwell. So but if you got a birth time, I'm all over it.
Yeah, you guys want to put in the comments who's on your radar, because I know you wouldn't be watching the show if you weren't a little bit intuitive yourself.
Right.
It wouldn't be fun for you. So let us know what you think. I would be kind of curious.
What do you guys
see what you guys think about that? I was going to ask you another kind of slightly off-topic subject, since you've been looking at the U.S. chart a lot. I had gotten some intuitive hits that we could be losing a few states in terms of possibility of seceding from the Union. I don't think it's really going to happen, but I see the conversation, and I think that actually but it's been on the ballot before in California, or at least California dividing into 2 states has been on the ballot before.
Okay.
Is there anything in the chart that would suggest to you that maybe, Oregon, Washington, California might consider leaving the Union, or Texas or Florida?
I saw some unusual breakthroughs in the United States chart. I didn't see anything that specifically indicated that would happen.
Okay.
I know there's been conversation, but I can't back that up with any. I don't see that in the chart.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That wouldn't be really good, but
and again, if anybody has ever done any watching of any documentaries or movies about the Civil War, and you're like, oh God, 600,000 deaths. They cannot have been in vain.
Yeah.
That just cannot. And one thing I want to say, Jill, that I've never heard anywhere else, and this is something that I was told by one of my spiritual teachers, is that the United States has an oversoul.
Oh, I've never heard that before either. I like that.
The United States has an oversoul.
So we are being watched.
We are being watched. I strongly believe that there are presidents on the other side. Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the other side. Roosevelt, both Roosevelts, the Kennedys. There's a lot of people working on the other side to keep us intact and get us through this. And astrologically, the planet Uranus in the United States chart is in the is in the zodiacal sign of Gemini. Every time we've had a Uranus return, as I mentioned earlier, when the planet goes all the way around and comes back and hits that spot that was at the birth time of the nation or the person, it's called a return. We were formed with Uranus and Gemini. We fought the largest military in the world in the Revolutionary War, and we won. Uranus was in Gemini during the Civil War, and the Union remained intact. Uranus was in Gemini when we fought fascism in World War II, and we won. Uranus has gone into Gemini and will return into Gemini next year. I have nothing to say except we will win this. We will win this struggle as well. We cannot lose. We will not lose.
That's a beautiful message.
We're going through some stuff.
No kidding. Yeah. I think of it almost as like a little enema here, because we look at this and we're like having to look at what's coming out, having to look at the collective. Years ago, I had a client who was a longtime member of AA, and I asked him about it because he said he got into AA because he found himself in an alley in a puddle of his own vomit. And somebody had dropped a card for AA on his, and had left him there. Had just, they found him, they left him there, but they'd stuck a card for Alcoholics Anonymous on his shirt or something. And so when he came to, he found his car keys. Thankfully, he didn't drive home, and called and made that life change. But I remember, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. He said, no, you don't understand. I needed to hit rock bottom. I needed to wake up somewhere, not know where I was, in a puddle of vomit, and to have that experience before I made the major change.
That card was his safety net. Spirit gave him a safety net. And by the way, AA has an oversoul.
Oh, that's nice.
AA has an oversoul, which is, I was told, which is why it's so successful, because it has an oversoul.
Wow.
So members of AA, they link to that oversoul. And when they follow the program, there's the healing that happens. Yeah.
That's a beautiful message. Thank you for that. Let's go to, you just mentioned the Kennedys. I love that. Of course, naturally, I'm going to go right to RFK, because he's been up to some sneaky shiz lately that has made me very nervous. Well, I was always nervous about him. But what do you see with him? Is there anything in his chart that would suggest that he's going to quit soon?
I haven't looked at his chart.
Okay.
I haven't looked at his chart. It's there's almost so much ick I can handle.
I know. Trust me. I do understand. He's doing some things with some medication. Obviously, we have all seen what he was up to with the Axenes. There's certain words we can't say on YouTube, as some of you guys have already figured out.
Right.
But he's going after some thyroid medication now, or I would say the FDA. Now, FDA had gone, in all fairness, after these particular very popular thyroid meds before RFK was there, but now they are also going after some antidepressant medications.
Right.
And my concern, and I'm sure a lot of people have the same concern, is that they're going to start expanding the list of medications they're going to go after. And these medications, at least right now, primarily seem to be things that women are taking.
Oh, wow.
Any sense of anything? I don't know if the chart would ever show, like, redoing of the FDA, or how that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The FDA will get beefed up. Yeah, because they've gutted the FDA. I eat organic, so I'm not worried about food recalls the way other people are. But if people aren't eating organic, we're going to get a lot of food recalls. We're going to have a lot of, botulism and salmonella and stuff. They started gutting the FDA before, and now they've taken more out of it. I watched a clip of Dr. Oz. Ugh.
I know. I have a story for you later. I'll tell you. I'll tell you later about Dr. Oz. I have a story.
Oh, I got it. And I have a counter story.
maybe we should just record that one, because you guys You guys will find these stories funny, I'm sure.
But I watched this short clip. He was on an interview. Somebody was saying, oh, well, what about the rural hospitals? What about, people aren't going to be able to get health care because you're getting Medicaid and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh no. And honest to God, he said, we're here for you. We doctors are here for you. Americans need to live a more healthy life. Yeah. We know that. We need to exercise more. We need to not eat fast food. Although, every third commercial on TV is either about a medication or about fast food. And, he's talking out, and I'm like, oh my God. So no answer to the Medicaid cuts. We're here for you. What does that mean? Do you know how long it takes to get, you're too young, you probably don't know, but does anybody have an idea of how long it takes to get an appointment with a doctor?
Yeah, that one I do know.
Okay. That's sad that you're at that age, you should know, but it's like, if you need to see a cardiologist or an endocrinologist or somebody that works with kidneys, and you already have symptoms and your GP has said, yeah, I think we need to get you to, you're lucky if you can get in within 3 months, 4 months. So don't tell me we doctors are here for you, because I don't know where they're at, but they're not here for us.
I love what you're saying too, because like I've heard the complaint, oh, if you're in Canada, it takes you 3 months to get a cardiologist appointment. Try to find a dermatologist is the one that I've had the problem. Try to get a dermatology appointment in 6 months if you're new to the town.
I called in the spring because I was having symptoms, chest symptoms, and I'd had a stent put in a couple of years ago, and I'm getting worried, and I moved, so I had to get a new doctor. And I call and I tell the receptionist, who was very polite and respectful, I said, I'm having symptoms, because the soonest appointment I could get was 4 months away.
Wow.
I said, I'm having symptoms. Well, if you end up in the ER or in the hospital, then this doctor will come and visit you. But I'm like, so I have to have a heart attack first. Basically, yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, let's not make it go that far.
And this is California. I'm not in the wilds of Ohio or Nebraska or something. It's just like,
oh my God, think of those poor people. Yes, you're right. I'm in Portland and I couldn't get a dermatology appointment. I had called like 100 doctors. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're not here for
Wow. Speaking of Medicaid, I don't know if Medicaid has a chart that can be looked at, but I was, all these Medicaid cuts, all of these people getting dropped off the rolls, and I'm hearing, I'm scared about grandma. I'm scared about, even people that were on it because they had some disabilities. Do you have any sense of if that is going to come back, or how or when people will get some relief from that?
I think it will come back, but I think they're going to have to overhaul it. I don't think anything is coming back exactly the way it was before. And we have to look at that and go, this could be a good thing. This could be a good thing. I know my brother got disabled after a couple of back surgeries a few years back, and he had to wait almost 3 years and use a lawyer to get disability. It's like the system is broken when somebody who can't really walk can't get disability in less than 3 years and hiring a lawyer. I had a good friend who had lost his leg from diabetes, and he had to send a photo of his stuff to
please.
Yeah, to go
Say
from
it's not so.
Really. He said, I had to send a picture because they were hemming and hawing, and I'm like, they had the doctor's report. He goes, honest to God, I had to take a photo.
Did he have to take a picture with his driver's license in his hand, showing his face and the
stump? Yep.
That the integrity.
And then they were like,
that.
okay, fine, and they signed off on it right away. But they were starting to give him the runaround, and so yeah, it can be improved, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Intuitively, something I have seen, and I'll just share this with everyone, so what I've seen with this is that eventually we will be able to, like, average people can sign into, not Medicaid, but like we could sign up for, I've seen expansion of Social Security benefits, like the health part, we can almost use that as our health insurance. I'm saying this wrong because
No, I think what you mean is that Medicare, that would be like Medicare for all.
Right, Medicare for all, and we can buy it instead of the private health insurance that
Right.
we're paying
Right.
for
Well,
now.
that's what Biden was trying to do.
Yeah, I do see that coming. I do see that coming.
Good, because he was trying to overhaul that as well, and include eye care and dental. And I remember, I don't know, 15 years ago, finding out both my parents were on Medicare, and but they still had to pay for their glasses and their dental work. And I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody over the age of 65 is going to need dental and eye care. And somehow you have to scrape this up. And they're like, Medicare doesn't cover it. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, this is sick and wrong.
I 100% agree with you on that one. And of course, the monster of him trying to use public funds to help grandma get dental care and glasses and all of that stuff. Craziness. Oh my goodness.
Very crazy. Very crazy.
Okay. So there's a couple of things here. Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you, because I know you kind of specialize in the big picture of what's going on. What would you say is the big picture of, this is happening to all of us, and we sort of talked about this kind of rock bottom thing that we're experiencing. What would you say the big picture would be here? Is that we all need to grow, or we need to expand, or what would you kind of say could be a
great question? A lot of people talked last year about finally starting the Age of Aquarius, right? And I have to agree. It took several hundred years, because that's how long it takes for one age to change. And I will say one little thing about that. People don't realize that when an age changes, we move from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, there's always backlash. I never hear anybody talk about that last year. Never heard anyone talk about it. And I'm like, dude, remember when the Christians were being chased and put to death and jailed and tortured when the age of Pisces began? That's when the age of Pisces began, when Jesus was here. That's the whole big shift. It took a while. There was a backlash. We are experiencing backlash. So this is a natural kind of progression of things to happen. But the age of Aquarius is all about the brotherhood or the sisterhood of man or humankind. So I think the lesson for us to learn is that we have to form communities, whether they're physical communities in our literal neighborhood or communities online. Hey, I need this. Can someone help me with this? And there's people that will help. Even, doctors, lawyers, professional people. Hey, I can help you with that. So forming communities, I think, is one of the big overriding lessons or themes that we're supposed to be learning how to connect. We all got disconnected over COVID. We have to learn how to reconnect.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So a couple of like rapid fire questions. You okay?
Okay.
With that? Okay. Peace in Ukraine. When? Please say.
Oh my gosh.
For sure. Thursday at 6. That would be nice.
You're killing me.
6 o'clock.
Peace in Ukraine. Well, I think that there's an energetic bond between Netanyahu, Trump, and Putin.
100%.
And I'm not sure which one of them is going to go first, but when one of them falls, the other two are close behind. And so I don't think that we have too long to wait for peace in Ukraine. The Russian people are like, we're done.
Yep.
We're totally done with this. You've bled us dry. Yeah.
It's funny because I saw the same thing, that there's a triangle between the three of them, and I couldn't see. I was in the same boat that you. I couldn't see which one of those dominoes was going to fall first, but that they were all going to be removed from power around the same time, in some means.
Right.
The next question was about Palestine. Yeah. Do you have any sense of when? God, those poor people.
Unbelievable. I don't.
Okay.
I'm like I said, I'm just counting on the fact that the the evil axis is going to all fall within weeks or months of each other. And so things will shift for Ukraine and Palestine.
And I mean, I think a lot of people feel as though we're going to be losing 47 within the next year, which could indicate the other two will go fairly soon after that as well,
or before.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't know who's the first one.
Yeah.
I think Putin has been seriously ill for a long time.
Mm-hmm. His body double was funny. Did you guys see this?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Jill.
Yeah.
So my question is, did Trump know it was a body double, or did he think it was Putin?
No, I think he knew it was him. I think they talked about it in advance.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure that he wasn't like there on a Zoom call, or because when he's talking about Putin and he's saying things that I feel like his body language was correct. Like he genuinely felt that way he genuinely adores Putin in a very special way. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think he's looking at the body double and feeling that way about him. No. For all we see Trump and think he's dim, he's not that dim.
Okay. So my follow-up question is, if he knew that it was a double, then why did he look like a whipped dog when he came out of that talk? Why did Trump look like a whipped dog?
Okay.
What went on there? And so you're saying you're thinking that the real Putin was streaming in that meeting, and he just told him, look, you have failed me. You are not coming through with your promises. I'm going to release the Kraken. Okay,
so I was seeing, because I'm just like all of you guys watching. What happened, right? I'm like I love reality TV.
That was so obvious.
Oh yeah, I was seeing like pictures of him, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, in some compromising positions. It felt like there were maybe even some video clips that they had gotten from the naughty files. Mm-hmm. Because we all think that the U.S. is the only one who has these. I mean, Israel has them, Russia has them. I think Scotland Yard has a lot of them too.
I think Scotland Yard has it. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think they were showing clips of that, or even like maybe even it felt like even some audio clips, possibly even from the Oval Office, like stuff that even he didn't realize they had. Mm-hmm. That's what I was seeing.
Okay.
Because the other lady was looking pretty freaked out too.
Yeah.
His press secretary's name off the top of my head, can't remember.
Carolyn Levitt.
Carolyn Levitt, and she's really young. She's, we think of 27 as so old, but like when I think of myself at 27, I was an idiot.
God, I was 27 going on 16.
Me too. I was like, oh my God, if I married the guy I was dating, I don't know, that's another story. But like, I would have been a divorce at the age of 28. I mean, it's just, that's what I saw that they had.
Okay.
There was some stuff that even he didn't expect to see.
Yeah. I think he was surprised.
Yeah, maybe even some of the pee-pee pictures from before. I don't know. And I also saw that was possibly even a picture. I don't know if I can say this one, but of other characters in this play, also that he didn't expect to see video of. But it was video is what I was seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
It was interesting. What about, rapid fire. So a lot of us have seen earthquakes, we're seeing floods, we're seeing natural disasters, but we're not necessarily like you have like timelines. Like some of timelines are hard for psychics. Do you have any sense on that?
The earthquakes, I think astrologically, the earthquakes would have happened with a certain astrological energy that's actually fading right now. So earthquakes, and I'm living on the fault line in California. I never thought I would. So I don't know, but definitely fires and floods for the next couple of years. Fires and floods.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I know, guys, fires and floods. I was seeing that too. I was seeing some earthquake activity. There was something else I was seeing that I'm going to ask you about, and it just kind of hit me. Like I love how you got your information when you're cleaning the stove, guys. That's how it works. Like we'll be cleaning the car, and you'll hear your little
in the shower.
In the shower, that's the number one. But I was seeing that Russia actually really wants Alaska, and I was seeing them off the waters of the Aleutian Islands. Now I know we hear, U.S. has never been invaded. That's not true. We were invaded, but it was the Aleutian Islands, and there wasn't a lot of people there. There wasn't a lot of people there,
Right.
But I was seeing Russian vessels off the
Wow.
coast of the Aleutian Islands. Now it's a little ways off, but I
Mhm.
was seeing that he would absolutely love to have parts of Russia. Is there
Oh
anything
gosh,
in
yeah.
Is
He
there
would
anything in
love
the
it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it actually. Alaska's a beautiful place, you guys.
That's a big win, yeah. I have not any idea about that.
Oh,
I wouldn't
good.
I
I
wouldn't
would
be
love to be
surprised.
wrong. Like that's one of
Yeah.
those ones where I see it and I'm like, the Alaskan people getting threatened, and then by extension, the Canadian people getting threatened because Alaska
Right.
and Canada are right next to each other, you guys. It's been a
Yeah.
little while since we've all looked at maps. I haven't been in school in a day or two, but right next there, and Canada's not excited about that either.
No.
But interesting. Okay.
Oh
So
God.
as we start
No.
to wrap,
Another thing for
I
me to
don't,
worry about.
no, I wasn't saying that anything bad was going to happen. I was saying that I was seeing the threat, and that
Okay,
threat
so
would cause
that's a possibility.
possibility, and but not that they would actually do. But what I was hearing was that we might be hearing about it in the news. Extra ships seeing off the coast of whatever. Be on the lookout if you are a fishing boat out there.
Uh-huh. Okay.
As we start to wrap this up, I hope I haven't just scared everyone here. With that, it was not what I want to do. Is there anything, Karin, that you really want, that I didn't think to ask, that you really want people to know that's important for you to get out there?
Well, we touched on it earlier, but I really want people to understand that this country is going through the dark night of its soul. And it's pretty dark, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We are going to come out intact, better than we were before. I believe that with all my heart and soul. I have, astrological things, historical things to back that up, but I believe spiritually, remember everybody, this is the only country that was formed from an idea. The only country formed not because of tribal reasons or cultural reasons or even racial reasons. It was formed from an idea. So we are pretty special, and we're not going to disappear. There's a lot riding on it, but we have help that we are totally unaware of. We're going to be okay. We are going to be okay.
Yeah, I was thinking I was just traveling, which is why I didn't produce a video, guys. So I didn't want to advertise that I was going away. So people decided to come over and take stuff from my house that I didn't want to let everyone know I wasn't going to be home. But I was traveling to a place in Southern California where I used to live. And I remembered I was working for a company that did a training program, and we had a line of vitamins. And when 9/11 happened, I'm kind of telling you guys how old I am, and I remember the owner of the company coming in and saying, you know what, we're done for. We're all going to be out of business. Nobody's going to want to come to our travel. Nobody's going to want to do this. We're going to be done, you guys. And we were all freaking out and thinking that was the end of the world because we'd just seen something unspeakable happen on television. And when I drove by this old company that I worked for, it's still there, you guys. It's still there. They're still making money. We're going to be here too. And we're going to be fighting the good fight. And I know, I don't know how you feel about this, Karin, but I know I see a lot of people comparing 47 to Hister. And the comparison is relevant in a lot of cases, but the history is a little different too. Like his people were behind him the whole time for most of this. Right. And that is not the case now.
No.
And we have the benefit of seeing what happens when somebody is allowed too much power, and those people didn't have that.
No, they were in really, it was, Germany was in a really bad state. Nobody had any money. People weren't working. So they were looking for an answer. What we're learning is what we don't want.
Yeah.
That is being held up in stark relief. No, we don't want people going around bustling people into vans and taking them God knows where. We don't want food that's not safe. We don't want our kids not to be able to get an education. I mean, it goes down the list. So what we don't want is, and learning that is a big deal, because it's someplace to start from, right? It's someplace to start from.
Love it, love it, love it. Maybe we should end with some gossip. Do you want to tell your story about
Oz?
Yeah, you got a story?
Oh God. All right. So you guys can remember the H1N1 thing that was happening, and everybody was like, we need vaccines. We need a vaccine, and they had a vaccine. So, and there were a lot of people that were like, no, we don't need a vaccine for the H1N1 because nobody's getting sick. It was kind of pretty localized in China.
Mm-hmm.
But the drug companies, the pharmaceuticals, got on board with getting a vaccine. Okay, so everybody was being pressured to take this vaccine. Tony Blair in England was pushing for the vaccine. All the English people should have the vaccine. Guess what? Mrs. Blair wouldn't let his kids get vaccinated or her get vaccinated.
Interesting.
Oz was during one of his shows when he was on TV, he had everyone in the audience get a free vaccine right there, right then. And it came out later that, again, his wife wouldn't let him vaccinate their children, wouldn't get the vaccine. And I guess he acted like he was getting, there might not have been anything but saline in the one he got. But then it came out that he was on the board of directors for the pharmaceutical company that had developed this vaccine. And his money, just skyrocketed. So that's my story about Oz. I'm like, oh, you dirty bird.
And of course, you and I are not giving medical advice with this. Just to let you guys know.
Exactly.
No, you guys.
I'm not a doctor. I
entertainment
don't
purposes
TV.
Only.
Yeah.
There you go. My Oz story isn't as interesting as yours. I worked in the vitamin industry for a long time, and I used to go to the Natural Products Expo, which is the big natural event that they have, for all the vitamin companies get together and try and sell each other stuff, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they had one of the workshops was how to make millions of dollars using Dr. Oz's show. It was a breakout event that you could go to, and I always laughed at that one because, and also we were trying to hire someone to endorse one of our products. What I didn't know this, you guys, I didn't know this was a thing, but when you contact one of these agents and you say, I want a doctor to endorse a product of ours, they send you like, the names and like their title, what they do, and then there's a price sheet. So if we wanted a chiropractor, it was gonna be 10 grand. If we wanted a medical doctor, it was like 100 grand. If we wanted a PhD and God only knows what, because they didn't always say, it was a certain price. But it was interesting because you could actually hire Dr. Oz. He was on that list. I don't remember his price, you guys, but it was
totally. I mean, I remember the first time I saw him, and I'm thinking, okay, here's another doctor that wants to make a lot of money without practicing medicine, which is basically what his motive was. And I read that, the hospital that he worked out of before Oprah found him, nobody liked him. Nobody liked him.
Well, there you go. See, I hope gossip was fun.
Yeah. I was thinking of something when you were talking about buying a doctor. I was thinking of something.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. Honestly, I didn't know that was a thing.
Okay, here's the thing I found out about, when you got these beautiful glossy magazines like the Chicago magazine, they probably have something similar in all the big urban areas. And every year they will say, they will have a whole issue of, here are the best doctors in Chicago. Here are the best doctors in Phoenix. Those doctors pay to get in the magazine. That they're not in the magazine because they're the best doctor. They're part of a network of best doctors in Phoenix or Chicago. They pay I don't know, this is years ago.
It's a lot, yeah.
Like $3,000 to get them to even come to your office and interview you and then decide, okay, well, maybe we'll put him in or maybe we'll put her in. Yeah, that's how that works.
That was funny because that was before the FCC has cracked down on that a little bit. Like now these advertorials are supposed to say sponsored post on them, but before, yeah, you really couldn't tell that this was something they paid for. I love that. That's awesome.
The reason I found out was because I was running an alternative medicine office. We had a young naturopathic doctor, and he came out of his office. He said, "Guess what this is?" He's waving a piece of paper, and I said, "I don't know." He said, "I was just invited to be part of the next, best doctors in Phoenix for the low price of $3,000. We're talking like 15 years ago. And I'm like, whoa. He goes, so now we know how they get in there.
I love that. That's a great story. Okay, so I'll let you have the last word, Karin. Yeah, actually, tell people how they can find you, and then I'll have you give the last happy word.
Okay.
How can people find you?
They can find me on my website or on my YouTube channel. My website is littlebluelotus.org. And you can read a little bit about my background and make an appointment if you so choose. Or you can email me. My business email is on the website. You can email me with questions. Or you can please go to my channel, Little Blue Lotus Astrology. If you just put in Little Blue Lotus, you'll get all kinds of YouTubes about Blue Lotus, and I think it's a hallucinogenic. How to use Blue Lotus.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So put in Little Blue Lotus Astrology. You'll find me on YouTube.
I'll put the links in the description, but sometimes it's how people like to hear it, and some people don't ever click on the description.
Right.
So I'll let you have the final word, Karin. Anything you want people to know?
Hey, be of good cheer, everybody. We're going to come out of this. We really are. We're going to be stronger. Try not to give in to fear. Know that there's invisible help on the other side that's very, very powerful. We're going to come through this.
I love that. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for coming out, Karin. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
You've been awesome. And I hope you guys, thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel. I appreciate that. Go to Karin's channel. You've got to watch. She's got some really cool videos. I mean, I was nosing around. I was clicking on. These are great videos. You guys got to watch these videos. And you'll see her. She's been on a lot of people's shows. Watch for her. You've probably seen her on other shows as well. And thank you so much, Karin, for coming. Stick around for a second. And but thank you guys. And I'll see you guys again soon. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Be safe. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, guys. Bye.